Good evening, welcome to the September 13th ARPA meeting. Opening the meeting at 7:07 PM. We have present Dave Walsh, Melanie Dean, myself, John Margie, Dan Peacher, and Ken Reale. We have only 3 voting members present, so we cannot make any decisions, but we will open discussion tonight. We'll get to the minutes if we do get a 4th meeting to do the approval of the meeting minutes from the previous 2 meetings. But we've received a package here of requests, if you can see it on TV. It's quite thick, voluminous. So question at this point in time is to discuss how we as a committee want to approach things and move forward, try and get through this stuff in a reasonable amount of time. I think discussing specifics of any request tonight probably not going to be worthwhile until we really come up with a strategy. And Charlie has left us some recommendations. Charlie Seelig. Set up a meeting. I'm just going to read through them all and then we'll come back to them. We recommend setting up a meeting schedule and a decision schedule. Also set up an interview schedule with the departments and other applicants. Several of the departments have multiple applications, so you don't need to have 27 appointments. We can set up a procedure for asking for advice as to whether an application does fit the specifications of one category or another, or will qualify only under reduction in revenue.
And there is, we are allowed to, under, with the money, we can ask for like outside, Plymouth County, you mentioned that, we can ask for outside counsel. So if we have questions on what fits under categories, we can use outside counsel and pay for it with the ARPA funds, so that we're not trying to make decisions that aren't accurate.
Okay. Good.
So you said we can use outside counsel on reduction in revenue questions, or any question?
I believe any question.
Right, I think it's, they may come right out and say that does fit under reduction in revenue, or it does not fit under reduction revenue, but you may want to go this way. That's the way I kind of remembered it from that meeting. So, those were Charlie's suggestions, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, for a meeting schedule for us and a decision schedule is basically saying, we're going to meet every other week, and we'll try to get through the top 15% in each meeting of applications. I don't know what the exact total number is going through that, but I'd say it's probably 25 or so. Something along those lines. I'm not saying this is what we're doing, just throwing them out as suggestions, and if anyone has any other ideas how you want to schedule and do the discussion.
I can put together tomorrow a summary of these. I think that would be helpful, like by department, what the request is, what the dollar amount, whether it might fit under. I'll just go by what they're saying here. I won't have time to really look into all of them yet, but I'll send that out tomorrow.
Is there any chronological order to this, or is this just by date?
I think my suggestion is the ones that are the highest ranking, we would go through first. Based on what they're saying.
Very high need, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Sure.
And then under those, maybe break it down to revenue replacement or not, because if it's revenue replacement, do we have enough money to do it in the revenue replacement side of it? How much money do we have, and where's that cutoff going to be? Does that make sense? And then, the third criteria could be anything, I guess.
So just kind of flipping through this, it looks like we need 4 Opera X, because there's an awful lot of money being asked for in this.
Yeah.
Right, well, I think, someone told me it's about $4 million being requested.
All of these, okay, yeah.
I just got 27.
Okay, so
You were close.
I mean, we can't really decide what beyond, we'll have to decide we're gonna meet at another time, whether we get somebody here or not, so we can figure that out later.
John,
Or
can
is
you
it-
define revenue replacement?
That's the one that we got that chunk of money already, and there's another chunk of money coming, I forget what the number is off the top of my head, 68,000 or
No,
384,000 or something.
No, it was
It's,
700 and 700.
Okay, that's.
in our July
Approximately.
12th meeting when we had the commissioners here, it says, under the final rule, they allow for a flat number for revenue replacement that can be applied for general government services. This requires strict reporting requirements on a quarterly basis through December 2026. The county is not intending to allow applications under this category.
So our money that came from the state can fall under that category, which basically broadens what we can use it for.
I think it's 684,000 at this time, an additional 684, is that, that's the other money, right? That's the 1.2 million?
Is that, sheet? I wanna say it's 7 and 7. Yeah, that's the other money,
Okay.
but we got it all, but, I think it's like 1.4.
Is it the one further down, number 7 on page 2? East Bridgewater will also receive 1.5 million in non-entitlement
Yeah.
unit funding.
That's it. Yeah, like 750 and 750 then, something like that. And of that, they've allocated some to the police for the bulletproof vests, the selectmen have. And then the ambulance should be coming out of Plymouth County. We're still waiting on final approval from Plymouth County on that. And we've just submitted for the money that's been spent for the sewer project so far. We just submitted for that from Plymouth County as well. So I think it's just the bulletproof vests so far that have come from the NEU money.
Okay.
Non-entitlement unit.
You said it was for the sewer connection project.
We just applied for that from Plymouth County.
That would be in addition to the 1.2 million? Or would that say we're using that money out of our 1.2 million and they're gonna okay that we do it?
For the 1.2, are you talking about the 680?
684, 684.
So that's actually only, that's a quarter, so it would be 684 times 4
Okay.
from Plymouth County.
It might be helpful for future meetings if we have like an Excel spreadsheet that kind of shows total allocation in the category and then submitted requests so we can see what's left.
Yeah, I can put that together.
I mean, not to overburden you, but I don't know if this is what you were thinking, of what you had, the information in here, if you put that into a spreadsheet too?
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna do with this. I was gonna put into a spreadsheet, and then I'll just do another tab with the breakout of the types of funds.
So, anyone else here gonna do any work besides Melanie?
After
Would be
she's done, we'll
sweet.
start.
I should say Melanie and I call the meetings to order.
The bulletproof vest money, that wasn't Plymouth County, that was the other.
That was the revenue replacement, yep,
Revenue,
from NEU.
So it'll be interesting to see how many revenue replacements, how much the revenue replacement's in there.
That's gonna be
Yeah,
the
up to-
problem, because our revenue replacement's the smaller pot too,
Right.
so that will be interesting.
And, just talking this through, I haven't really thought about it a lot, but on the revenue replacement and the prioritization, would it make sense to make a separate prioritization for revenue replacement money versus the other money? Where there's less of it?
I would say yes,
I think
they
so,
should be
too.
separated, yeah.
And it's gonna be a burden on the town to track all that stuff as we go along. So that's another consideration when we talk about revenue replacement projects, is that's one we have to do as
Right, if
quarterly
we have
reporting.
20 revenue replacement projects, it's 20 things to report on quarterly.
Right. So so we wanna consider that, and the burden is gonna be on Melanie and the rest of the people that work at the town. I want the town to get sued and have them blame you guys.
Don't want
That's what I said, well, I didn't do it.
Right.
All right. Kinda handcuffed with no voting, but. So the procedure to ask for advice as to whether an application does fit the specifications of one carrier or another will qualify under reduction of revenue. For advice, we would go to Plymouth County, right?
Yeah, and they have other legal counsel that they recommended that we can go to.
Right, so we,
For our, because I think for, if we're using the NEU money, we would have to get outside counsel, because I don't think Plymouth County is gonna weigh in on what we're spending that money on.
they already said they're not gonna
Right.
approve it, right, so
Right.
we're out of it for that. So just putting it out there, I think we go to them first. If it's NEU money, they're not gonna be getting involved. If it isn't NEU money, they have counsel we can go to. And if we do have a question, we can go to any of our in-town counsel, right, for NEU money, if we have questions about whether we really wanna do this or something.
Yeah, or other firms that are more specialized in this.
Anyone else have any other thoughts on moving forward from here? I mean,
Rebecca
But-
just messaged me, she started a spreadsheet too, so I'll have something to
Okay.
start.
somehow we have to break this down into something more succinct. Kind of get it into categories or whatever, break it into departments. So, you know, as he suggests, you schedule the meetings, if you've got 14 of these are from the school department, then, you know, that's one or two meetings there. Or the recreation department, or,
But should we go through these first and
And give it a rate, give a
give
rating.
it a rating and say this qualifies, this doesn't, et cetera?
my thought is Melanie's spreadsheet will be a more concise, better thing to work from, where, you know, you can look at, not concise is probably the wrong word, look at the general categories first, you know, which type of money is it? What's the high need, what's the funding category, things like that, so you can kind of look at them, and by department. I mean, that's probably the most critical
Well, that would
distinction.
sort it out anyway.
Right.
I think I need to read through these first,
I
you know,
mean-
I mean, I just, I'm looking at a stack of papers, and it's hard to make any judgment at all,
Right.
you know, until I've gone through it, and you know, you've seen me in a few meetings we've had, I'll have questions.
No, there's no-
So,
We all have questions. The problem is, right now, it's so big, it's hard to think of which question you want to ask, you know?
yeah, prioritize your questions.
I would think, or should we set another meeting for 2 weeks from today, or even next week?
I think next week,
I think next week, because if we're
unless
gonna
it's a
set
burden
up.
on you to get your stuff done.
No, I think if we're gonna wanna meet with other departments, then we should get together ourselves in a week, so that then we can set up for that.
Right.
You know, so if we're gonna meet next week, what do we need to do for homework? Read through this, understand the categories, and the criteria that these people are asking for?
I mean, my thought is read through it, identify questions I have at a high level about each one, and go from there. I mean,
Well, if we,
I don't know enough to even say, you know? I think the spreadsheet will help us, right? But I think even, like you say, if I go home tonight and spend an hour going through some of these, you know, I'll get through 10 of them anyway, I would think. But I will have questions on each one. I know just based on going through it in 10 minutes ago.
Right,
So,
we're gonna see, if we look through these, we'll see how they back up what they're asking for.
right.
Right.
You know, that's important to me. It's like, you know, are they just throwing a number out? Are they substantiating what their request is for?
Well, there's gonna be a lot of questions,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
And, you know, one that just somehow based on what you just said, I'm thinking is, one question is, should the NEU requests have criteria in there, how they're gonna meet the reporting criteria to the town, for the town to make it to the Plymouth County.
Luckily, the majority of these are town departments, so, but for the ones that aren't, we definitely need to consider that. And I was going to, I think, and with that too, if we decide to use outside counsel to weigh in on any of these, I want them to weigh in too on giving the money to outside departments, because Plymouth County's not allowing it, and the DOR, when I met with them recently, definitely didn't think it was the best idea. They thought it was adding a lot of
Right.
work and risk for the town. But I want to get an answer from someone specialized in that to see what they think.
I do remember, I'm 99% sure the board said okay to that unanimously.
They did, yeah.
But
So,
again, outside counsel may have a better thought process. They gotta be sensitive, more sensitive than the
Yeah.
council would. That make sense? I don't mean to turn my back on you.
No, that's okay. I think it makes sense, and I think if Rebecca, I know it would be a big email, but if she could send this packet out to any member who's not here, so they can also, or they wanna come and pick up a packet.
I think realistically, to send that in an email, whether somebody be able to, she'd even be able to send it.
True.
I mean, maybe through Dropbox or something like that, but
A zip file.
I would say, yeah, zip file, but
and we can reach out, send an
Yeah, who
email
wants to
out to
print it
tell
out?
them that these are available for them to pick up for the
I
other
would think
members.
it'd be better if we just I'll send an email tonight saying that the packets are available and they can be picked up.
To the people that aren't here. Is that what you, yeah.
I'll send them to everybody, so you all see the same thing, but,
I think that makes sense.
right? And then if they can't pick it up and they wanna make arrangements to have it sent, I mean, I can't picture myself printing out all these things either.
Yeah, it'd be hard to go through them on the computer.
Anything else, Ken?
Yeah, I think this, it looks overwhelming until you get into it. And I'm just looking to break it down so I can understand it better, you know.
Dan?
No, I'm good.
Should we reach out to the members of this committee to see since people now kind of know what the commitment is from when we first started, who's interested in maintaining and staying on the committee?
I think that's a good idea, because since the selectmen appointed, the initial group, 3 have resigned. So, 2 that never showed up in the beginning, and then Michelle just resigned, so.
And John, you're gonna have to start doing some work besides Melanie.
That's what we have, you guys for. I'm just a
He's still
titular
gonna
head.
call the meetings to order.
I think there should be an evaluation of the committee.
The health of the committee.
Committee's commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of requests here,
Yeah.
you know, and this, you know.
It shouldn't come down to just the 3 of us to vote on $4 million worth of requests.
Well, and it
You know,
can't, the way the committee's structured right now, right? I don't know, what would you have to do to be able to have a quorum if,
You'd have to have
We have
one
to
more
have
person.
4.
Well,
showing up.
Nadia was here, we'd have the quorum, or who else is missing?
Dan and Jerry, Geraldine.
Geraldine. Yeah, I mean, we should be able to have a quorum with the people that are here, but it'd be better to fill the committee out to its full form and.
Yep.
But I don't wanna have that delay what we're trying to do either.
Right.
So, my thought too is on who should be on the committee. I mean, to me, it's financial people that have worked in the town should be well represented. I mean, we have you from the finance committee, you from the finance committee. I've been on the finance committee for a couple of years, and, maybe somebody from the capital committee would be, look for that for a candidate. Trying to think of the other committees, but I think the finance side of it, really
Yeah,
deep part. I don't know if you have any ideas, or.
trying to think, yeah, I'm trying to think. So
I'm not
Michelle
going for specific names.
resigned, is that, and because she was on Capital, right?
Right.
Yep.
That's what Rebecca said to me earlier.
Okay.
That's a loss, but
Yeah.
nothing we can do.
Yeah, I'll think on that.
All right, let's, I'll work on finding out what we gotta do to get replacements, and, over the next few days. Let you know, we'll plan to meet again next Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
So I can't be here Tuesday or Wednesday next week.
I'm just checking to see if I can actually be here now that I said that, all right, I'm sorry.
Can we do Mondays?
Monday would be good.
Are there rooms available? I don't think this board probably won't meet on Monday because they met,
Yes, the plan was here,
the planning board's up here. Do we know if anyone's downstairs?
Board of Health.
Board of Health is downstairs. What about the little room over,
We have to be on TV though, right?
yeah, okay.
That's the limitation?
You can do it Tuesday,
What time are the other meetings?
5 and 7.
Okay.
So Monday's out,
Looks that way.
what, Wednesday?
You said you can't do
I
Wednesday
can't,
either?
anything, Tuesday's good for me next week, but I'm gonna be away at the end of the week. I'm planning on Tuesdays, you know, so I'm kind of, the rest of the week's,
Yeah, it's,
Well, instead of next week, why don't we do the week after? Will give us time to look at the membership on the board, and it would give time for Melanie to get her list together and for us to go through these.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think 2 weeks is too long.
Yeah, 2 weeks would be good. We
Okay.
could do
I
that.
can do the 27th.
all right.
yeah, I can too.
Got that, Zach? We
Yeah,
good?
the 27th, yes.
Thank you. So, next meeting will be the 27th.
And that gives the other people time, if they can't get up here right away tomorrow to get the packet.
Yep.
They'll have time to look everything over.
6 PM.
27th.
Well, question on that is, if the other people who aren't here, who haven't been here, if they're not intending to continue on, should they get a packet?
I would say if they're not, they should resign, yeah.
I think it would behoove us, more me, I guess, to reach out to the people who aren't here tonight,
Mm-hmm.
just ask them a question. I mean, until they're not on the committee, I don't think it'd be right to not make the information available to them.
Sure, oh, sure.
Right, so I'll try and get in touch with them and we'll go from there.
Rebecca did say the Board of Health meetings are generally quick if we wanted to try for Monday next week, but if you guys want to wait another week, it's up to you guys.
I honestly think 2 weeks is fine.
And
Okay.
Give it a chance to get everything together.
This isn't the most fun thing I do every week. I forget I'm on TV. No, 2 weeks, and it takes some pressure off you,
Yeah, no, that's
putting your
fine.
stuff
Fine
together.
with me.
And if you come up with a, a draft or something, you want us to take a look at it and see if we understand where you're going,
Okay.
all right? We can share that, and that'll give us.
Do
the
it much
extra
more
week.
detail.
Add more detail. Sometimes less is more, right?
Oh, yeah. All right, so 6:30, I'm gonna close the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.